Hosted by Mike, the
Listen,
Big
I have to tell you, I just got done going through the entire Hellryder record. I was expecting something, similar to Gravedigger because with you and Axel, both working on it, but I was completely taken back. It's nothing like anything Gravedigger's ever done.
Yeah, that was the reason why we did it under the name Hellryder, because it's. I think it's totally different. I think Gravedigger is more this true metal, classic metal style, and Hellryder is, it's dirty, kick-ass heavy metal in the good tradition of Motorhead or Monster Magnet or other bands.
Absolutely. I mean, were these songs or ideas that you've had over the last 30 or 40 years that you finally got around to doing, or was it something relatively new that you said, let's try something different because this stuff really wouldn't work in the Gravedigger format?
Yeah, the story behind that is that we always had on the Gravedigger records some Motorhead oriented stuff on the Return of the Reaper album, and we also did in the past on the Hangman album a cover version of Overkill, and that fits very. Mike, sorry.
It's okay, you're back.
That was my wife calling. And yes, we always had songs like Overkill or on our records, and but at the end in 2017, Axel and I we decided to make perhaps an all complete album with this style of music, but under a different name, and we created the name Hellryder, and we had the logo at this time, but we hadn't the time to compose or record anything. And then the pandemic came, and we had a lot of time because we can't play live. So now it was the time for Hellryder.
Yeah. So when you decided to do Hellryder, did you feel like this was just going to be a studio project and you were going to get these songs out and maybe do more down the road? Or were you looking to make this a whole nother second band? Because, for the last 40 years, Gravedigger's been your primary, concern.
Yeah, at first we thought, okay, we only do a record. But during this composing and recording of the record, we decided to do it as a full band because it's really fun. And also with a few other guys, with Steve Wusso and Timmy Breideband. It was so much fun also to record the videos and all this stuff. And now we prepared ourselves to play live too with this band.
That's going to be great. I mean, here in the USA, we're starting to see, clubs open up again, venues are opening up again, bands are starting to go out again. Maybe not on, big tours, but they're starting to play again. So we're hoping by the end of the year, maybe 2022, it'll kind of get back to normal. In Germany and the rest of Europe, is it still kind of locked down where bands are prevented from playing?
Yeah, we are in a lockdown since last March, since 2020.
Yeah,
but
it's a long time.
But on the other side, with Gravedigger, we are planning an US tour from April to May next year. So let's pray for that.
I hope it happens. I saw you guys the last time you were in New York when you played at Webster Hall for the skateboard marketing party. My God, it was incredible. So I'm hoping to see you guys live again here.
Yeah, we too.
That would be fantastic. I mean, you have to be one of the busiest people in music because when you think about it, 8 or 9 records by Gravedigger in 10 years. I mean, it's almost like an album a year. It's like the 80s when bands would put out a record and tour, where a lot of other bands go 4 or 5 years in between. You do not waste any time.
Yeah, because I reach an age now. Next year I will be 60, and my head is full of creativity and of music, and I love music. Now I created my own studio. I built my own studio at home. I start producing other bands and mixing and mastering, recording my own stuff here in my studio. So music is my life, and if you can earn some money with that, that is, it's awesome.
Yeah, earning money is a big thing. Hopefully that can happen for bands. But what is you've always worked around a lot of concept records. You've always worked around a lot of great themes, historical themes. And to me, it just seems like there's a lot of work that goes behind it where if you sat down and write a standalone song, it's much easier to come up with 1 3-minute idea. But when you write a concept record, you kind of have to balance the real history and the truth of what you're writing about, but yet also make it entertaining where each song could be separate than the whole record. That seems very challenging.
Yeah, to write a concept CD is totally challenging, and it took much more time to write an Hellryder record. But on the other side, to write Hellryder stuff, it's some kind of breaking all the borders we have with Gravedigger, and it's so much fun because you don't have to notice that or notice that, and we are free. And in the moment we're preparing 4 new Hellryder songs, all cover versions. And that will be fun, really, really fun. But I don't want to tell you too much now. But it's really fun.
So do you plan on putting out another full-length record by Hellryder in the next year, or maybe just an EP of the cover songs? Would I get involved?
Only an EP before Christmas. No Christmas songs.
That's okay. I think we have enough of those.
Yeah, definitely.
So with Hellryder, I mean, you and Axel get together, it's like around 2017, you come up with this idea, and because of the pandemic, it gave you the opportunity to sit down and start working on it and recording it. Do any of these songs go back to 2017, or was most of it done during the last year or so when, there was a lot of downtime?
No, there were no songs written before the middle of 2020, and it's all new songs. It's nothing left from Gravedigger sessions or something like that. It was all written from September last year to November last year, and then we produced the album, and everything is written in this during this time.
Yeah. You have a very distinctive voice, and when people hear it, they right away know Gravedigger. You went a little different with this album with Hellryder. You added a little different touch to your voice.
Yeah, because we play on a baritone guitar, and this is 5 half tones deeper than the normal tuning.
Ah.
Okay, and that is the reason why it sounds so deep and dirty, dark, rough, and it forced my voice also to put it a little bit down, and that's the reason why it sounded more a little bit like Lemmy, an old drunken Lemmy or something like that.
Yeah. Going to Gravedigger for a minute, I mean, you've had a pretty consistent lineup for quite a while now. Axel's been in the band, I think, since 2008, 2009. So does it help having consistency with the members of the band where you kind of know each other and know, what person's like strong points are, the weak points are, and how to write around it?
Yeah, at the end, it's a matter of respect, because we are old farts, everybody in the band, except the drummers. The drummer in Gravedigger is 41, and the drummer in Hellryder is 27. And but the other guys are nearly 50 till 60, But we have so much experience in the last 40 years. Also, Axel or Jens. Jens is in the band now since 22 years. And it's great to make music with this guy because everybody knows what he has to do. There's no challenge between us because there is a business model we have in both bands. And we can live really easy with all these guys together.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that it's 41, 42 years since the band formed. I mean, when you guys got started in like 80, there really wasn't a scene yet. I mean, the metal scene was just starting to develop. There were a handful of bands doing something a little different. There was a new wave of British heavy metal starting out with those groups like Motorhead. So you guys were kind of getting into a scene that really wasn't established yet. There wasn't a sound developed by a lot of groups. And you were there from the very beginning. I mean, did you kind of know where you wanted the band to go? And did you think it would, kind of last this long?
No, never. Because when I started playing music, I thought I'd die with 30 years old. That was a target,
Yeah.
To live short, die young, or something like that. But then I was 30, and I was still alive. And with 38, I stopped drinking and smoking and everything, taking drugs. And now I'm 59. And I love music, and No, when I started with 18 years old, I never thought that I will be doing music with 59. But it came year after year and after year, and yes, I enjoyed it so far. I have so many brilliant experiences about my career. So yeah, it's awesome to that I had the gift to live this life.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the changes in the music scene. It went from where it was really heavy, then there were thrash metal bands, there was hair metal, there was metal went commercial for a while, then new metal came in. So many changes over the decades. I started a little experiment with Digger when you try to go a little bit more commercial, and going into Hawaii, which was something completely different. And I love that demo tape. I'm glad it was finally put out on record years later. I mean, you kind of stood your course after that. When you came back as Gravedigger, you never changed again. You ran the same course throughout all those years.
Yeah, in between, in the year '87, we had a small break, more or less, with this Digger album,
Yeah,
where we changed the name and changed the music a bit. But that was healing, that because we need this break, because we lost the direction a bit, and the break forced us to go back to the essence of our music, back to Gravedigger heavy metal. And yeah, I want to keep the flame burning with this Gravedigger stuff as long as I can do it. And I love when I grew up as a young boy, I loved this kind of music, and I never want to play something different.
oh, I'm glad for that. Going back to like 86, 87, when you're talking about changing direction with Digger, a lot of bands did it at that time. Judas Priest changed direction, Ozzy changed direction. They were all, even though they were more on a higher level as far as stadium stores go, they all were looking to go in a more commercial direction. And it wasn't just you guys. A lot of bands did it back then. It worked for some, it didn't work for others, but most of them came back around to their original sound within a few years.
Yeah, but I don't know why. I think everybody was watching the American market, and especially the European bands. And the record company forced the bands to do something they don't want to do at the end. And like take Turbo Lover from Judas Priest. But for us, it was a good time because we could concentrate to the real music we want to play at this time. And yeah,
Yeah.
it came after a couple of years. We start again with Grave.
True. Back then in the 80s, almost every band, no matter where they were in the world, like you says, wanted to concentrate on the American market. That was like where they wanted to make it, break big. Now you go 20 years later, 25 years later, it's all about Europe now. It's all Germany is the capital of heavy metal. Everybody wants to go to Europe these days. It's amazing how it's changed over the last few decades.
Yeah, I think we have a good market, but on the other side, it's a lot of American bands are around Europe. I think the main market is Germany.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why, but the scene is very big here in Germany, especially also for European bands. And I think that a lot of American bands have a good success here, like Metal Church or the guy from the prison now, Ice Earth. And everybody loves these bands here also from the American market. But there are also other markets like Russia or South America. And yeah, we are really present on the South American market, and we have good sales there also in Russia. And I remember in the 90s, it was the biggest market was Japan. And a lot of bands never known here in Germany or around Europe had big success in Japan. And then they came over from Japan to Germany, And that was really funny.
Yeah. Today, when we started out, there was no internet. We did everything writing letters and sending correspondence and email. Sending tapes out. Today you have email, you have social media. Is it better today for bands, especially established acts from back in the day, to use social media to promote their platform, or do you still kind of like to do it the old way?
I'm an old guy. I'm really enjoyed the time beginning of the 80s with all this vinyl stuff, and there was no internet. Nobody knows anything about a record before the release. Nowadays you have to promote a record 3 months before the release, and it was more culture. Music was more culture in the past. Today it's with Spotify and all this stuff. It's more like fast food. Oh, I listen to this song. I don't like it. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
When I see my son, he's 15 years old. In the beginning, when he was 9-10 years old, and he started listening to heavy metal, hard rock, he bought some CDs or he rented from the dad, and now he had some vinyl. But at the end, he has a boom box, and he's listening, Spotify the whole day.
Yeah, that's the way it is today. I mean, I feel like the internet took a lot of the mystery out of metal and the bands. I mean, as a kid, I remember, maybe there was a fanzine that you can get here and there, and you'd hear about a band, and you look for that record in the store when it came out, and you couldn't wait to go home and play it. And when you found out that band was going to play in your town, you couldn't wait to go see what they were going to do live. Today, people go on the internet and they see the videos, they see the live performances. That mystery is gone, like when the lights go out and that band comes on stage, and you're just blown away by the energy that they put out there. That's what I think I miss the most about music from then till now.
Yeah, for sure. They asked us several times, it's now in the last 6 months, if we like to do a streaming show. But what is streaming?
Yeah.
Then you can watch a DVD. A DVD has more power than a streaming show, I don't want to stay in my rehearsal room or on a big stage and performing my music without anybody around me, That is totally cold. You can't, feel the energy, and if you can't feel the energy from the crowd, you can't put your own energy on stage. Yeah, and that is, I think, that is the biggest difference between a live show and a streaming show.
Absolutely. Because most of the world, hasn't been able to really see like a full live performance or a band going out on tour for over almost a year and a half now. I'm hoping that when it does start up again, that people start going out to the shows again. They start going out to the clubs. Maybe they realize after this last year what they missed by not going to the shows and staying home and watching the videos, and it'll get more people out again. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope that the people are really crazy if the show starts again, and that I know that a lot of people here in Europe, they have so many tickets from the last years here from shows here in Europe that they don't buy new tickets. That is totally crazy. People have 10, 15 tickets for shows. And if you announce a new show now, they don't buy any tickets. So we will see how the market is growing again, and how will be the difference between before the pandemic and after,
True. I know you said you have these shows coming up with Gravedigger in the beginning of next year. Is it too early for doing anything with Hellryder Live yet? Is it too early to start planning because of everything happening?
Yeah, we are planning from month to month, and we moving shows, we moving festivals, and we planning like the US tour now. And but at the end, you don't know. There is another mutant, from the virus, and brings all the stuff back again. So we are doing all this in an empty room for the future. Nobody knows exactly what will happen,
That's very true. Hey, Chris, I'm not going to keep you. I know you're doing interviews all day long today, and I'll give you a little break between now and the next one. But what a great job on this Hellryder record. The Devil is a Gambler. I know we're probably going to get some new Gravedigger in the next year, maybe a new concept record. We'll see what happens. But I can't wait for you guys to get back out on the road, start playing live again, and for that U.S. tour to take place, because I'll be there once again.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike, and have a nice day. Yeah.
You too, Chris. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.